Okay, some of y'all might be thinking, did I bring my Korra cosplay for this video? Because it's a tradition. I've been doing this now since I've done my worst list. Did I bring my Korra cosplay? I mean, did he lug it all the way here to his father home in Dallas? Well, what do you all think? Hi. Hi everyone, JT here. Welcome back. Back here from my father's home here on Christmas vacation. And of course, as you could see, the Korra cosplay I did bring with me because it is just tradition when making this video that I wear this. And you know what that video has to be. Yes, we are continuing, of course, my contribution to this season 2024. And on this New Year's Day, the final chapter of 2024, we're ending it off, of course, with me, with the power of the avatar behind me. It's time to pound out my top 10 worst movies of 2024. Officially getting a beat down and just final battle of these top 10 worst movies of the year. And I will say it was slightly difficult in the beginning to find some bad movies, but as the year came going forward, yeah, there were some very bad films, and some of them I had to watch just to make sure how bad they were. And believe me, a majority of them I did. A few I didn't because I'm just not going to waste my time. But enough beating around the bush. I got my top 10 list ready. Let's roast some bad movies, okay? And we're going to begin with my number 10. All right, beginning at number 10, we have the Garfield movie. This movie, I didn't even attempt to watch. I almost tried to on Netflix, but this is not so high up on my list at number 10 just because really the biggest issue I have is Chris Pratt. Look, I liked him as Mario. He actually exceeded my expectations and did not disappoint me when he played Mario last year in the new Super Mario Brothers movie, but he's not a Bill Murray. He's not like past voices of Garfield, okay? His personality does not match the lazy, boring personality that you get from a Garfield movie. And of course, it has to be this story about his long lost father, played by Samuel L. Jackson, which, I mean, sounds interesting, but honestly not what I'm expecting out of a Garfield movie. I don't know, it just really much, I had just no interest in watching the Garfield movie. I didn't. I mean, there's so many other better Garfield movies that I could see. I'll take the Bill Murray ones over this one again. Just Chris Pratt, just not, just his personality does not mesh well as Garfield. He could pull off Mario, but he could not pull off Garfield. And yeah, that is the biggest thing. Just the biggest miscasting I think I've ever seen. Just Chris Pratt does not match Garfield. I really just had no interest in a movie on Garfield. That's okay. Number 9 on my list is Borderlands. Now, I'm not a gamer. I've never played the Borderlands games, even though I do have a PS4 here. But um, yeah, when I heard that this adaptation of an M-rated video game was coming out and the movie would be PG-13, yeah, I knew it was going to be a hot mess. And it seems from Borderlands fans, this was a hot mess. I think I'm with the fandom in the sense that if this was given an R rating, this could have been on par with Deadpool and Wolverine. I feel like it just, again, what are you expecting out of getting this being released as a PG-13 movie? None of the same experiences that you might have had if you played the game. Now, I've not played the game, but even if I'm hearing from the fandom like this is terrible, don't watch it, it would have been better R rated. Yeah, that's a sign that this movie was not going to be great, you know. And again, sometimes the fandoms have given appreciation. Like we saw with Five Nights at Freddy's, that fandom approved of the movie. They said, yeah, the movie's messy, but so are the games. And well, Borderlands fans are like, oh, yeah, this movie is a hot trash garbage. If it was R rated, it could have been better. How was this not R rated? I mean, come on, Sony. Like, it should have been an R-rated movie. The fandom's telling you this, yet you gave them this and make it PG-13. So, of course, expectations were going to be low, and yeah, very low for this. This not has the Borderlands spark that I feel fans wanted. Number 8 on my list is If. Now, John Krasinski is a good director. I'm not going to disrespect that. I enjoy, even though I've never seen it, I can tell his uh, contributions to the Quiet Place films are fantastic, and it seems horror movie fans love that. So for him to go on a different direction and make a family-friendly film with Deadpool is questionable. And really, it was a good concept, but then I got bored when me and my family watched it. And looking back at it, and a lot of people are like, there was something like this animated before that had a similar kind of premise about imaginary friends. Yeah, that was called Foster's Home for the Imaginary Friends. I mean, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I'm not trying to name like copywriting here or like plagiarism, but I mean, if you're not a Foster's Home fan like I was when I was a kid, I mean, yeah, I could see the similarities, but even done way more boring and in live action. I mean, if this was animated, that could have maybe be piqued my curiosity, but no. I mean, Ryan Reynolds did deliver in his performance. I mean, it doesn't beat his performance in a recent Best Movies edition that he was in, but he did deliver best. But I don't know. This movie really, I don't see myself. I gave it way too good of a score. I just feel it just, I don't see myself rewatching this movie. There's no replay value in this. I mean, no disrespect to John Krasinski. Maybe next time he might pull something like this, but I feel he's much more comfortable when he makes horror movies. And even though I'm not a big horror movie fan and I've not seen the Quiet Place films, I mean, Critical Mass has told me that those movies are great. If, not so much. Okay, number 7 on my list is Madame Web. We've seen it all. The clips, somewhat memes, but yeah, this movie, Madame Web, I watched it, and yeah, this is definitely Morbius without any of the meme ability. Really, I don't know. I think it was just really the Dakota Johnson really kind of brought down the film for me. I mean, I like the side characters, but other than that, I'm just seeing who in the Spider-Man verse wants this. And I'm not trying to be here like, oh, women can't be superheroes. No. You look at a person who actually watched Miss Marvel and actually liked her in the Marvels movie from last year. Like, I don't know, just Madame Web, when coming off after also Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the whole Spider-Man No Way Home, this seems kind of like a downgrade. But granted, what can I expect? It just, I did not like it. This was, it was as bad as fans said. I really don't think this is something with the Spider-Man franchise I'm going to go back to. And, well, yeah, Morbius without none of the meme ability. And when you can't really make a lot of memes out of this movie, um, yeah, that really means it has a very short attention shelf life if there's no meme ability, even in something as bad as Madame Web. Okay, number six on my list is The Tiger's Apprentice. Now, this animated film, I saw potential in it. I liked the characters, but really the story is what really turned me off because it's the same thing of Zodiac characters, kung fu, martial arts stuff, like stuff. It kind of also gave me a little bit of weirdly miraculous vibes, which I don't know why. I'm just guessing because the characters and the Zodiac side is just kung fu. I mean, I don't know. I just really, it wasn't that memorable. I really lacked unfocus when watching this movie. I mean, I like the voice cast was very strong. I like the character designs, but really the story about a young kid who got bullied, wants to become a hero, is becoming this apprentice to this warrior. Just I don't know. It's also very concerning that Paramount made this available on Paramount Plus and not released this theatrically. That was kind of, yeah, I didn't really like Tiger's Apprentice. It wasn't, it was bad, it was bland, it was boring, really none of the excitement that I'd rather see. Sorry. It's gonna be a controversial topic because of with John Lasseter, but like I want to give him a second chance, but he's got to make something better than luck. He's got to have something that really is going to capture audience's attention. Number five on my list, Spellbound. Now talk about look. I look back when I did my in my last top 10 list when I talked about luck, which I just showed a clip of. Yeah, I was being too nice to John Lasseter. Spellbound, like the big thing, I mean, the animation, despite really flawed elements like that tornado uh, villainous thing, that there's loopy black lines there, tornado. We just had twisters this year. Glenn Campbell ain't shaking in his boots to that twister in that movie. But yeah, I mean, the voice cast was okay. I actually enjoyed listening to Rachel Zegler in this. And I'm being nice to Rachel Zegler, her performance in this movie. Oh, girl, you're going to have a tough 2025. But that's all I could say. Positive. This movie, the big flaw, just like with Luck, is the writing. The writing in this movie just it's somehow John Lasseter and company decided to make a movie that had worse writing than Luck. I can't believe I'm saying that. What I've been hearing online that this is somewhat have to do on the topic of divorce, which there have been movies that have tackled the topic of divorce. Mrs. Doubtfire, heck, even Infinity Train tackled this topic, and they did it much better than Spellbound did. Like the the theme and topic of divorce in this movie, if that's the case, it's a terrible way to acknowledge that of divorce. I mean, I just don't know what was going through that mind in using a theme of that, which is hard enough as it is when you're making a family friendly movie, specifically how Spellbound is being catered to. I mean, it's just, it's like John Lasseter didn't really listen to me or Animat's criticisms. Like, we told you what's wrong with your writing, buddy, but it looks like you're going to double down on it. I mean, really, I don't want to bash John Lasseter, but what can I say? The flaws are his fault. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The issues I have with this movie are the same issues he gave us with Luck, and it seems to, from stories I've been hearing behind the scenes, you're testing my patience, John. I'm just saying. I mean, if this is the material that we are going to be still getting, I'm not looking forward to anything from Skydance, especially with Skydance being purchased by Paramount. Like, do you really want John Lasseter to be a part of anything of like Nickelodeon animation? I personally don't. And I don't think they really want him right now, considering the bad publicity Nickelodeon had this year. Yeah, Spellbound is really, if this is what we're going to be getting from Skydance and John Lasseter, I am not have very high hopes for what is ahead in future Spellbound in Skydance animation releases. This is just, really, dude. This is also the advertising for this movie. The creator behind Cars 2. You're flexing Cars 2. It's not really a proud flex, bro, but okay. Number 4, Joker Folie à I do not want to put this movie on this list. The last thing I wanted to do was put Joker 2 on this list. But, man, I waited until recently when it was released on Max to watch this movie. I even made a poll earlier when it came out in theaters if I should go see it. Majority said no. I finally watched it on Max. This movie was so wasted potential. It was like there could have been some salvageability if it had not been for the decision to make this have multiple musical numbers. I can deal with a few, but other than that, like, you have Lady Gaga. I get it. But Lady Gaga's proven she can do movies or dramatic roles without needing to be a musical. Look at her performance in American Horror Stories. Even House of Gucci, even despite how cheesy that film kind of went to in places. Joker Folie à had salvageability. Heck, the big reason also I'm putting it at number 4 is really that intro sequence. That beautiful ode to the Merry Melodies Looney Tunes cartoons was outstanding. But man, just this movie was such a mess. Again, just so many, one after the other. A musical number about this, use a number of that, this fantasy-driven musical numbers. It still pains me because this was among my most anticipated movies of the year. And the results that I was, again, when we were hearing that possibly there was going to be musical numbers in this movie, it scared us, and I can see why. But again, also knowing Todd Phillips' reputation, I mean, the man who did Hungover, he also did Hungover Part 2, and that's the worst of the Hungover movies. So, of course, it wasn't surprising the Joker Folie à of course, became now the worst of the Joker movies. I don't even think I'm with everybody else. This movie should not have been a franchise. But what can I expect from Warner Brothers Discovery? And I can go on tangent. I mean, it's even bad. David Zaslav didn't like this movie. Yes, David Zaslav, my mortal enemy right now, did not like this movie. That when David freaking Zaslav doesn't like this movie and sees the flaws. I can't. This is the biggest disappointment I've had watching a movie in my life. You know, this is worse than Wish. At least Wish, but oh, this was such a disappointment, and I still can't believe. And I'm being generous, okay? I'm putting a number 4. At least I could see where potential could have delivered in this movie. And of course, that intro sequence, man. Hopefully those animators did get their money's worth out of it because the animation there looked fantastic. But man, this was the biggest disappointment I've ever had going to seeing a sequel, and the biggest disappointment of the year for me. Number 3 on my list. This Is Me Now, a love story. So, J-Lo, how's that relationship with Ben Affleck doing? That you made a big movie element to this album, which also was really bad. Yeah, this was such an ego-driven film that I did not watch it. Also because knowing who directed it. Oh, Dave Meyers. Yes, he directed this movie. I mean, the man has, yes, Todd Nathanson's mortal enemy directed this film. And I mean, the quality in his music videos have been going downhill. The dude should have not discovered experimental CGI. And here again, I could tell in almost how bad the visual effects in this movie were terrible. And just knowing the whole thing that J-Lo's involvement in this, really just investing herself, her own personal financing into this movie, it just, I mean, the album was bad. So to put in a movie element like this just seems so weird and kind of clinky to me. I'm just saying that it just really feels clingy to me. And yeah, I really don't want to watch this, especially in a year where we had some amazing documentaries. Some of them were on my best list if you saw them. But yeah, I have no interest in a weird love story that sadly has not aged well now, knowing the news. So yeah, a love story, more like an outdated love story. Number 2 on my list, Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. It, it hurts putting Spongebob on a worse list. I did enjoy it back when I did it for Sponge on the Run, and I don't enjoy it now, especially since this is the 25th anniversary of SpongeBob's debut. But what can I say? Like, I am shocked by how bad we went in CGI in Sponge on the Run. In Sponge on the Run, this one makes that movie look good. This is some of the worst CGI animation I've ever seen. I'd rather watch Code Lyoko. This was so low tier quality CGI. It was like they were using the same software and programming they animated Camp Coral, only for a movie with some movie theater sheen splashed on it. And just particularly when it pertained to Sandy Cheeks, her family, of course, one of our favorite female characters from SpongeBob. The fact that this was her standalone movie and this is the quality you're gonna give us, Paramount, like, that's what pains me more. Because I would have loved a standalone Sandy Cheeks movie. I would. And the voice cast, say what you want about the quality of this movie and say what you want about the downgrade in the show in recent seasons. I will give praise to the cast. 25 years later, they do still give their all. They do. I'm not going to sugarcoat. Tom Kenny and the gang, they deliver. And they do deliver in this movie. But, man, just the writing and then just the animation, it makes me sad because, I had a SpongeBob phase when I was a kid. And seeing how the series has gone on so long, maybe too long, and then seeing this movie, I don't think we need more SpongeBob films. We don't. But even then, that was not the worst movie of the year. No. This year, we had a worse movie. There was a worse one. And I think it was much more well-deserving in this position. There were times where I was debating maybe it shouldn't be number one. But then I came to the final conclusion, no. It deserves number one. It 100% deserves the number one spot on my list. For good reason. Because even though I never was a fan of its sequel, its first film, the way that this sequel was advertised, the way that this has just been damaging for its fan base, oh, DreamWorks, why? Number one on my list, Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. I avoided this movie like the plague because I was not paying for Peacock. Then, of course, came Peacock's desperate move in discount. We're offering for a low price of just $20 for 1 year of annual Peacock Premium for the Olympic Games. I love the Olympics, and that's the only time I will pay for Peacock. I paid for it. And this summer, I decided, okay, I guess I'm going to have to watch Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. And I did. And it was the waste of time in my life. Say what you want about Joker 2. At least I saw potential in the mess. Say what you want about Sandy Cheeks' movie, Saving Bikini Bottom. At least the voice acting delivered, and at least I wasn't bamboozled. Oh, man, DreamWorks, you bamboozled the fan. Seriously, I'm not a Megamind fan, but I felt bamboozled. I felt Speckledorf. I've been Speckledorf. That's what I felt. This movie, the animation was terrible. The animation is so bad. And then just really the writing and the story. So, Minion has a new name? He's still called Minion. You guys own the name Minions, Universal. Why are you giving him a different name? And then just the frustration during battle sequences. I was like Shane Willis, dude, you have the dehydration gun. Use your freaking dehydration gun. He has the dehydration gun. Why doesn't use it? And I'm not the biggest fan of Megamind, okay? I remember seeing it in theaters. I liked it, but I never really was a part of the cult following that it has. And it has a very big cult following. So for DreamWorks to hype up this trailer, I think it was during the Super Bowl, they had advertising for this garbage. The fact that they hyped it up for fans, and then this is what we get alongside with a terrible show that I I don't like Shea Brothers. I didn't waste my time. Oh no, no. I avoided that show like the plague. I ain't wasting my time watching that show. I'm not. Just looking back, being actually in this media room in my dad's house, watching this on the TV, watching Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate just brings me back to utter frustration because Megamind fans deserved better. They deserved something much better quality. Or really, they didn't really need it. There was no need for a sequel or a show. Okay, we really didn't need this, DreamWorks. We were fine what we had. We did not need this, but it's just like and I was debating, with Joker 2 and with Save Bikini Bottom. I really didn't think I would have any other like salvageability elements for this, but no, Megamind. I just like no. Megamind's taking it, and this is coming from also where we also got Wild Robot. How, and it's just shocking how we went from bottom of the barrel trash like this to the Wild Robot. Wow, again, like DreamWorks is like the Pan Weezer. Sometimes we have a blue album, a Pinkerton, or a white album. But also we have the occasional also elements of like make-believe, a Ratitude. This was Ratitude. This was just the worst. Just the worst. And I will never go back to this. I will watch the original Megamind. In fact, I might have to just to realize just why there's such a big cult following. But yeah, I'm never going back to this. I'm never watching that terrible show. The only reason I will use Peacock next time will be for when the FIFA World Cup happens in 2026, provided that my family and I don't go to one of the games. Hoping Peru will play in it. Who knows? But yeah, I'm going off tangent. I never want to think about this movie. I never want to think about this movie again. I think we all can agree. Let's leave this in the past in 2024. Yeah, Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate is my pick for the number one worst movie of 2024. And let's leave it in 2024 where it belongs. In a dumpster fire. There were a lot of many things that happened in 2024. That's it. That was my list of my top 10 worst movies of 2024. Again, this is all just my opinion. I know some of these films I didn't have a lot to say, but really some of these movies I either wasn't focused or really I just want to forget that they were ever been watched by me, because it was really a waste of time in my life where I could have watched something better and I had to watch stuff like The Tiger's Apprentice and Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. And yeah, I mean, I could have done like what I did with Borderlands and other movies, but I had to make a judgment for myself. But I did not like this. What do you guys think were the worst movies of 2024? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching my channel. My channel has grown immensely well this year, more than I was expecting this year. But thank you so much to this. If you can, please subscribe to my video, to my channel if you can. Of course, I will be back at midnight, January 1st, with my 1-minute YouTube short message for New Year's Day. Stay tuned for that. If you want, you can watch my recent best list of 2022 here. You can also watch my top 10 worst from 2023 and 2022 over here. Thank you all so much for watching. I wish you all a safe and happy New Year's Eve and a great New Year's to 2025. And thank you all for watching. Until then, this is JT signing off.